In our last video, we looked at a business idea from one of my readers. Today, we're gonna go even deeper and we're gonna dive into this market to see if this idea is gonna be profitable. So I'm gonna walk you through how I do research into a new market. And this is how I spend 60 to 80% of my time when developing a new product. And I'm gonna tell you, get this step right and everything else is gonna come easily. So right now, where are we? Right now, we know the idea, but we know basically next to nothing about the actual market. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how we can start from zero and build a massive amount of insights about who our customer really is. To recap, here's the idea we're diving into. I help single men between the ages of 25 to 35 look better and feel more confident about themselves by showing them how to go to the gym and burn fat. I wanna help those who are beginners, men specifically who work 9 to 5 and have an office job. So the first thing I wanna do is give you a framework to evaluate whether or not you've found a profitable idea. This is the very same framework we use when we're coming up with our own ideas. Now remember, I've created over 20 successful products, many generating millions and millions of dollars. So I want to take you behind the scenes and show you how to think about the profitability of the idea we discussed in the last video. This demand matrix, it's very simple. It shows you a mental model of how much demand there is for your idea. You can see that there's more customers or fewer customers, low price and high price. Now, obviously the dream is to get something that's high priced with a lot of customers. Well, I want to help you break this down because you can take each of your ideas and put it into this demand matrix. So let's just go through a couple examples so you can see what I mean. Now, let's first start from the top left and work our way clockwise. High end means high price and few customers. What kind of companies can you think about that are high end and have a relatively small customer base? What do you think? Let's think about Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Prada, Leica. These are amazing companies, super high end, and the vast majority of people will never buy their products. Great, that's a high-end company, high-end product. Okay, now we have some examples. Let's move on to the next one. We call this the golden goose. Love it, the golden goose, because the price is still relatively high, but the number of customers is massive. What kind of companies can you think about here? Think about the iPhone. That is the natural example. Wow, amazing, outstanding. This is a sweet spot if you can get it, okay? Great example there. You could probably think of 3 or 4 more right off the bat. Now, how about the next one? Let's take a look at mass market. Here, the price is low, but the amount of customers is massive. What kind of company can you think about that has a low price, but tons and tons of customers? Well, how about McDonald's? How about Starbucks? These are perfect examples. And then danger. Be careful if you're in this last quadrant. We call it the labor of love. You may love it, but it's not a profitable business. Now, I'll give you an example from my own life. I have a simple dream in this world, and that is to teach random white people how to eat habanero salsa. Nobody listens. Every day I wake up, the first thing I say, God, please let this be the day that I help these random white people learn about the joy of eating habanero salsa. Well, guess what? In my life, I have had exactly 0 people ask me, please, Ramit, please teach that course on habanero salsa. Okay, I want to do it. I have a passion inside. I have the knowledge and credibility. There's only one problem. Nobody wants it. So it's a low price because I can't charge that much, and it's few customers because basically nobody wants it. In other words, there's 0 demand for it. So you see why we call this the demand matrix? You want to know where the demand is, both in terms of price and customers. Don't create a labor of love. It's a huge problem when it comes to creating an online business. Now, the biggest question I get, hey Ramit, great framework. How do I know where my idea goes? How do I know which quadrant it falls in? And my answer to you is, don't worry about this being definitively right and precise right now. This is a back of the napkin exercise that helps you understand where your product falls, okay? So in other words, you're gonna estimate it. There's no right or wrong answer, but you can actually be pretty accurate where your product might live in the demand matrix. I'll give you another example. Personal finance, that has a lot of customers potentially, but typically for a book or a product, the price is relatively low. So you can kind of see where that might fall, okay? You can kind of reason this out on the back of the napkin. Don't worry about being perfect, just worrying about estimating it as closely as you can. Now, let's take the idea we discussed in the last video and let's actually see where it fits in the matrix. So this could be a golden goose, maybe. Could also be super high end. For example, if you were personally coaching really wealthy clients who have very little time for exercise, or it could be mass market like a book. It really depends on how you refine the idea, which we're gonna dive into today. All right, we already broke down some of the different niches within this market, but let's dig even a little bit deeper. For our first step, let's go to Google. Here, we're just looking to see what kinds of headlines and sites pop up when we do basic searches on the keywords. So let's Google key terms like how to burn fat and gain confidence for men, or fat burning advice for men in their 20s. Men gain confidence by going to the gym. So for right now, we're just looking at what are the big sites that we should be aware of. I'm gonna take note of this and I'm gonna write that down in my doc. All right, so look at this site, T Nation. Ooh, big aggressive photos. So now you are instantly seeing what this site is, what it stands for, and who it speaks to. Interesting. It's all about testosterone. Okay, well that's very interesting. One submarket. I'm gonna note that down. Okay, now look at these ones. These are really different. These people are normal. They're out of shape guys who are just trying to lose weight so they can live a regular life. I bet you these kind of guys probably would not be interested in T Nation because they're not that aggressive. They're not trying to get that huge. So take that down in your notes as another submarket. Okay, let's take a look at some of these. We talked about these sites in the last video. Now let's take a closer look at them. We help nerds, misfits, and mutants lose weight, get strong, and get healthy permanently. Okay, you can instantly tell who this is for. It's fun, it's a little bit self-deprecating. These aren't hardcore fitness guys. But if you're a nerd, this is gonna resonate perfectly. Okay, now look at this. These look like normal people. Very different than the guys on T Nation who have a very different look. Okay, and what do they offer here? Let's see, coaching. Looks like these courses are geared towards gamers. Interesting. What else? Here's a product on using rings and learning to do handstands. That's interesting. I'm not sure what to make of that. It's a very specific market. A course on handstands for video game nerds. You see how narrow you can go with your idea? It's hard enough for regular guys to build muscle. But for us, for skinny fat guys, it seems impossible with the typical advice. Ooh, okay, this is interesting. This headline instantly calls out who the website is for, skinny fat guys. And it makes a clear distinction between regular guys and us, AKA skinny fat guys. Now this is important. Because they think of themselves as being different, they're less responsive to advice for the average Joe. These guys have unique problems, or they believe they have unique problems, and they want unique solutions. Take a look at this. I know these things because I was once in the skinny fat cage. Here are some photos of the site's founder. Now, what's he doing here? He's using pictures of his old self to show what the problem looks like. He's not fat per se, but he's not fit. What he's saying is this is skinny fat. And if you have the same body type, you can recognize it instantly. What's he offering? Okay, so he has 3 different packages you can buy. They're all PDFs. You can get information about nutrition, a training program, fat loss, and posture advice. If you go with the most expensive option, you get all the PDFs plus access to his forum and coaching calls. Okay, let's take a look at this. No time to work out? I just found some for you. I'm gonna show you how to get an hour's worth of results in just 25 minutes. Very intriguing. So what can we tell about the type of people that they're targeting based on this headline? Well, they don't have a lot of time, or they perceive they don't have a lot of time, and they don't want to or can't spend that time working out much. So what kind of people are these? Busy professionals, maybe parents? Well, let's take a look. It says it's short, it's intense, And the results, just ridiculous. I'm gonna guess that the people for this program like to be challenged. There's almost a pleasure in the idea that you can condense and compress an hour's worth of work into 25 minutes. In short, I would say that these people are ambitious. They want results and they want them fast. Doesn't matter if it's hard. In fact, it's actually better if it's hard. So here's the promise. 25 minutes is all it takes to get ripped, to get abs, lose the baby fat, get the six-pack, feel better, look better, fast. Now compare this to the skinny fat solution. Notice that there's nothing here about the specific type of person it's for. This one stands out because of the promise. Feel better, look better, fast. What are they offering? It's a 14-week DVD program. Get a bunch of videos of the workouts, a nutrition plan, plus a handful of bonuses. And the cost? Well, what we can tell is this is a mass market product. It's only $60 total. And one last thing to notice, look how professional the page is. There is a serious business behind this. These people are making serious money. That's a good sign. You want your competitors to be making money, because if they weren't, it wouldn't be a profitable market and a profitable idea for you. All right, let's go on to Amazon to find the top 5 to 10 books in the market. And what I want you to do is look through the reviews for what people really liked about it. Let's also look at the 2 to 4 star reviews to see what criticisms there were. First, let's take a look at the book my friend wrote, Engineering the Alpha. The full title is Man 2.0, Engineering the Alpha, a real-world guide to an unreal life. Build more muscle, burn more fat, have more sex. Wow, okay, sounds pretty good. Sounds like pretty attractive to a lot of guys. Let's take a look at the reviews. But let's look at the medium reviews to see what people don't like about it. This line really stands out to me. If you keep up with the state of fitness today, there is really nothing new here. Oh, the nothing new comment. I've heard this a million times. What does this tell you? It tells me that this book isn't for someone who already knows everything about fitness. It's likely for the beginner. Or how about this one? Unfortunately, the authors feel the need to cheer and encourage to a very annoying degree. Once you get to the program, it's great. This comment also sounds like someone who's a little bit more advanced. But for a beginner who needs the motivation, the cheer might be essential. By the way, there's also a little aspect that I want to highlight here. There's a lot of people online, particularly in the fitness world, okay, who read and read and read, and they know every different diet and every different workout there is. They do everything except one thing, which is go to the gym and change their diet. So sometimes the people who are keyboard warriors are like, oh, nothing new here. Oh my God, this is just like that other esoteric program. It's like, dude, why don't you actually apply the material instead of just reading the next 500 different workout programs? So you will get more sensitive to being able to tell who's legitimately giving you criticism and who's just a keyboard warrior, right? That's something that comes with experience, and we can show you more about that in our Zero to Launch course. Here's another review. The diet is way too expensive. It's not uncommon for me at this point to have less than $50 a week to spend on food, let alone getting supplements. Okay, this is a useful comment. There's an opportunity here. People need more options for meal planning, and healthy weight loss foods on a budget is probably something that a lot of people would want. All right, let's check out another book. Here's one called Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, The Simple Science of Building the Ultimate Male Body. Okay, here's a really useful comment from a 5-star review. I spent thousands of dollars to hire personal trainers to go through a variety of exercises, however, never get quite satisfied. This is great. So this person has spent tons of money on solutions that haven't worked. That's a major pain point. This person is going to be ecstatic when they find a solution that works for a lot less money. Now, I actually love this comment for another reason as well. Your best customers are going to be people who have already spent time or money solving the problem that you're solving, but they haven't gotten the results they want. Why is that? Any ideas? Well, I'll tell you why. Number one, if they have spent time and or money, that means they recognize there's a problem. You don't have to convince them. They already know it's a problem, enough that they've actually looked for a solution That's part one, which is awesome. So they're self-aware, they've got time and money, they've spent it, they're serious about it. But the second part is that they haven't gotten the results they want. Maybe they found a bad trainer. Maybe they didn't spend enough time doing it. For whatever reason, it didn't work. Now they are hunting. They still have that problem, but they're looking for a better solution. That's where you come in. So when you find a review like this or a comment like this, or you're in your customer research calls and somebody says, I already tried this. I hired 2 different teachers, but they didn't quite do X. You should be leaning in and saying, tell me more. That could be your best customer. Let's take a look at another review. This was a 3-star review, and this is representative of most of the other 3-star reviews. It says, good to get into or back into the workout mindset. However, some contradictions and oversimplifications prevent me from rating it higher. There's a common theme with all the 3-star reviews of this book. They all say it's good for beginners, but it's oversimplified. This is actually really useful information. What this tells us is that if you're going after a beginner group, you should study how this book speaks to the market. In other words, oversimplification is good when you are introducing new ideas, but if you get more advanced, you need to add a little bit more advanced material to follow that market. All right, let's take a look at another book. This is written by one of my buddies, Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Body, an uncommon guide to rapid fat loss, incredible sex, and becoming superhuman. So we can already see just from the title that this has similar promises to the others. But Tim's book includes a time factor. It won't just show you how to get these results, it will show you how to get them extremely fast. Boy, there are a ton of 5-star reviews. So let's actually take a look at the 3-star reviews. Here's one. Contains some good info, but you have to search for it. I was hoping for a step-by-step set of plans based on scientific studies, but this is more anecdotal evidence of one dude doing stuff. All right, what does this tell us? This buyer wanted more scientific proof that this would work for them, not the results from one man's experience. He also says he wants more guidance. My honest take, if I'm reading this and I'm Tim, I'm saying, you know what? There's a million other books out there. You're not the right market for what I want. People come to my book because I am the human guinea pig. And so you don't want to respond to every single piece of feedback you get. It doesn't mean that now you need to add scientific studies and now you need to do this. All of a sudden you'll be pulled in a million different directions. Sometimes the market is just not the market you want. But other times you want to listen and you want to file it away and say, you know what, I'm going to think about that. Another 3-star review. Overall, book is decent, but a lot of the material is over one's head and technical. Wait a second. Isn't this contradictory? The other reviewer wanted more scientific backing, but this guy says it's too technical. So what do you think is going on here? First of all, it means you can't listen to everyone's feedback. You're being pulled in a million different directions. It's up to you to write all the notes down and then decide where you want to go. I also think it means that being clear about the science doesn't mean you have to be hard to understand. If you can provide some solid scientific information, but you can be easy to read, then you can create an amazing product that lots of people will want. In other words, it's simple enough for the layperson to use, but for the 1% of weirdos who really want the scientific references, they can go into the appendix. Okay? All right, now I want to show you a couple of sites that I really like. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe not. Reddit and Quora. These are sites where people can ask questions and everybody answers each other, and I find them really fascinating. It's almost like being a fly on the wall in 10,000 different conversations. And we can get really specific and narrow it down. So let me show you what I mean. Let's start with Reddit. I'm going to Google Reddit fitness confidence men and see what comes up. This is where you're really going to start finding nuggets about people's goals and pain points. So here's an interesting one. What did working out do to your confidence? Ooh, this is like gold right here. We're about to click this and walk into gold and just see answer after answer after answer. Now, just beware. You're going to find a lot of answers. You're also going to find a lot of lies. A lot of lies when it comes to people answering stuff online. Any reasons why? Anybody know? Well, first of all, people give answers that they think other people want to hear, even if you're anonymous. This is the crazy thing about online answers. So people are going to give you answers that they think you want to hear. You want to be aware of that. but you still want to listen and really find out those nuggets of truth. So let's take a look, because this one's going to give us some ideas for what actually happens to guys who get in shape. Look at this. Getting in really good shape just makes you feel so good about yourself that it's just kind of contagious. I feel more at ease talking to people, and when I do something embarrassing, I find it much easier to recover from it. It affects me in ways I never would have expected. How about this one? I started working out precisely for the confidence boost, and it absolutely worked. It changes your mind as well as your body. I became a more focused, goal-oriented individual. It was also the moment I got out of a 4-year relationship and I was pretty down on myself. I could have very easily gone back to drinking a 6-pack every night and playing video games. Going to the gym every day instead and learning to cook good food led to confidence in other areas, especially dating. And how about this one? People have been treating me a lot different now, with much more respect, for lack of a better word. So I pretty much feel like people like me more. It's also double the attention from the ladies, so that gives a nice boost too. Okay, interesting. What do we see here? What would you notice if you had to write down a few takeaways? What would you write down? Seems to me like the benefits aren't just that you look better. It actually changes how you think, how you feel, how other people treat you. We should take note of that. In particular, we should write down some of these words like focus. To me, that really stands out because it's something that people want, and the connections are somewhat counterintuitive. Wait a minute, losing weight and focus? That's interesting. Let's take a look at another interesting thread I found. I Googled, why don't you go to the gym? Let's take a look at some of the answers. I feel like it's always, look at the new fat guy that doesn't know how to do anything. And I don't want people to know that I'm struggling with the problem. I feel watched, and I've never liked it. This is pretty heartbreaking to hear. And I really empathize with this person because I know when I was starting out, going to a gym, like I didn't even know where the locker room was. I walk in, I feel nervous. I don't know where any of the machines are, so I go do the same old thing I always have done, a treadmill, and you just feel like everyone's looking at you. In reality, probably no one's looking at me. But I completely understand that even though it may be in my head, if it's in my head, it's real to me. So maybe this person isn't even ready to go to the gym, right? Even though they want to get fit. If it were you, what solutions would you recommend to somebody like this? Or how about this comment? Too far and too expensive. Okay, pretty straightforward. If you were designing a solution for this person, what would it be? How about this one? I feel like people are judging me. I'm seeing a lot of responses like this. You think there's a pattern here? Do you think maybe you can target people who want to get fit but aren't ready to go to the gym? All right, interesting. I'm going to note that down. All right, let's check out Quora. This is another Q&A site that I really like. I'm going to Google Quora no time to work out because that's a big obstacle for people who have demanding jobs. Here's a really good thread. What is a good fitness plan for someone who is extremely busy? Wow. So the most upvoted response comes from a former obese startup guy who became a fitness entrepreneur. As I scroll through, I'm noticing all the answers are really long posts telling me what to do. That's not what we're looking for at this stage. Really important to note that. We are still looking for people talking about the problem. We need to understand the problem more before we can offer a solution. So, you know what? Seems like Reddit's going to be a little bit better for this. Reddit is going to be a place where you can find people sharing their experiences and stories. With Quora, my experience is that there are a lot of people trying to give detailed how-to answers. This is actually good. Now we know where to look right now and where we shouldn't look. Okay, let's not just think about what's holding you back from working out. Let's also talk about mindsets. For example, I'm seeing a lot of threads about motivation. And when I say I'm seeing a lot of threads, I'm seeing that word come up over and over and over again, so I'm writing it down. And I think to myself, motivation, do I really understand that? You know what, let me try Googling a little bit. How about, how do you find the motivation to exercise? Or how do you find motivation to work out after long hours at work? Ooh, look at these answers. These threads are full of people giving short anecdotes about important mindsets they use to work out. You're definitely going to want to write these down. All right, we're reading online, but remember what I said. When you're reading online, number one, you don't know who these people are, although when you're reading hundreds and thousands of comments, you start to see a lot of patterns. But you also don't know who's telling the truth and who's just saying what they think people want to hear. So what I really want to do, what I think is really important and what has set our products apart from many other competitors is that we actually take the time to talk to real people. How many people here watching this right now have emailed me and actually gotten a response back, right? I get thousands of emails a day. I read every one. I respond to hundreds of them. I talk to people on the phone. I do customer research calls. So does my team. So I want to encourage you. Who could you talk to with this example? Who could you get on the phone with? Who could you take out to lunch? Maybe you could put an hour on your calendar this week and push yourself to go talk to someone about your idea. Here's some questions you might ask. Let's say your topic is XYZ, okay? Weight loss, walking a dog, buying an armadillo, whatever. Some questions you could say, have you thought about XYZ? Is this something that's on your mind? How do you think about it? Who else do you know that's done this? Why did they do it? Notice that lateral approach instead of going directly head on sometimes. So at this point, we have collected a lot of different information about this idea. We know some of the different segments of the market, right? People who are busy, people who don't have money, people who want way more scientific information, skinny fat, nerd gamers, and on and on and on. We know their pain points, their hopes and dreams, and we know the obstacles that are standing in their way. We also know what kind of solutions are available. Now, yes, this is messy, and I really want to emphasize this to you. This is not some Tom Cruise Minority Report thing where I'm sweeping things around and everything's just integrated magically. It's not like that. Basically, we have a couple of docs open. We're creating different headlines. We're moving things around. All I want to do is remember a couple things. Number one, the goal is to collect and absorb everything, okay? Second, no shortcuts. At this stage, lots of people say, Ramit, I am going to write an algorithm to go through all the Amazon reviews and parse them. Stop doing that. The point is not to do this efficiently, it's to do it effectively. So read through all the comments. It should take time, okay? And stay close to the data. That means make sure you are copying and pasting real quotes into your research doc so that you can remember exactly what people say. Now, if you want to learn how to take this and turn it into a profitable business, and you liked watching this in-depth lesson on exactly how this process works, check out growthlab.com. We've got a lot more material there for you.